Wait, was one day.
Good evening. Shall we start? Madhu, please mute yourself. Madhu, please mute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's start the lecture. First of all, we are going to discuss the first topic, that is your introduction of the monosaccharides. Okay, so basic we have to discuss. Then we go to the second topic, that is your introduction of the aldose reducing sugar, that is glucose. Then we will discuss about the qualitative analysis of that reducing sugar glucose. Okay, then we will see the practical part. Okay, so let's start the lecture. What is the monosaccharides? I think in carbohydrate session we are already discussed about this. Monosaccharide is the smallest unit of the carbohydrate, right? We cannot hydrolyze the monosaccharides. Mono means single and saccharide means sugar. Okay, so it is the smallest unit of the carbohydrate which cannot be hydrolyzed. That is known as a monosaccharides. Okay, so monosaccharide basically is the simplest form of the carbohydrate, and which cannot be hydrolyzed into the simple sugar because it is the smallest unit of the carbohydrate. Smallest unit of the carbohydrate. Then the general formula for the monosaccharide is CnH2O, CnH2nON. And this monosaccharides are served as a building block for the disaccharide and polysaccharide. We all know that disaccharide and polysaccharide are made up of the monosaccharide. When two units of monosaccharide combine together, then it forms the disaccharide, and when many units of the monosaccharides combine together, then it form a polysaccharide. Okay, this monosaccharides provided the instant energy to the human being and also form a essential biomolecules. Then chemical composition. Monosaccharide is composed of the three atoms, that is your carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, in a ratio of 2:1, that is hydrogen to oxygen. If we talk about the hydrogen and oxygen ratio, then it is 2:1. Okay, then functional groups are also present, that is aldehyde group and ketone group. Okay, when these aldehyde and ketone group are present into the monosaccharide, then that sugar is known as a reducing sugar. Reducing sugar are what? Reducing sugar are the free aldehyde and ketone group is present. Then their functional group contribute to reactivity and energy metabolism. These aldehyde and ketone groups are free. Then these functional groups are contribute in the reactivity and energy metabolism. Clear my points? Now classification of the monosaccharides on the basis of their functional group. So on the basis of their functional group, it can be classified into two groups. The first one is your aldoses and the second one is your ketoses. Aldoses means that the presence of aldehyde group. When the aldehyde group is present, then it is known as a aldoses. Okay, that is glucose and galactose. Both are considered as a aldoses. Okay, ketosis means that ketone group is present. Okay, presence of ketone group. When ketone group present, then it is known as a ketosis. So fructose is an example of ketosis, and glucose and galactose is the example of aldosis. It determine the biochemical reactivity and role in metabolism. Classification of the monosaccharide on the basis of their carbon number. So either they are trioses, pentoses and hexoses. So trioses means that 3 carbon atom are present. 3 carbon atom are present. Okay, that is glyceraldehyde. Glyceraldehyde contain the 3 carbon atom. This glyceraldehyde is the monosaccharide which contain the 3 carbon atom. Next is your pentosis. Pentosis means that the 5 carbon atom present. 5 carbon atom present. Okay, the example is ribose and deoxyribose. Then hexosis means that 6 carbon atom is present. Okay, that is your glucose, fructose and galactose. Glucose, fructose and galactose, all these contain the 6 carbon. Now this carbon number affect their role in metabolism and structure. That's why this carbon number is important. Clear? Classification of the monosaccharides is clear either on the basis of the presence of functional group or either on the basis of their carbon number. It is clear? Yes or no? Okay. Now trioses what? Trioses, for example, again triose sugar are what? Means that it contain 3 carbon atom like glyceraldehyde and dehydroxyacetone. Okay, and they function as a intermediate in glycolysis. Importance vital for the cellular energy pathway. This triose is important for the cellular energy pathway. Pentose sugar means that it contains 5 carbon atom. For example, ribose and deoxyribose. So these ribose is a component of the RNA and deoxyribose is a component of the DNA. Okay, and it is the fundamental for the genetic material. This pentose sugar is the fundamental for the genetic material because ribose form the RNA and deoxyribose form the DNA and also help in the energy transfer in the form of ATP and NADPH. For both form, it can transfer the energy. Hexose sugar. Hexose sugar are those sugar which contain 6 carbon atom like glucose, fructose and galactose. Okay, now we all know that glucose is a primary source of the energy for all the living organisms. Okay, all the living organism means that either it is plant, animals and your human being. For all type of this living organism, this glucose are act as a glucose, fructose or galactose are act as a primary source of the energy. It also provide fuel for brain, muscles and metabolism. Next, glucose. Glucose is known as a aldohexose sugar. Now, aldose hexose sugar means that aldehyde group is present and 6 carbon atom is present. and this glucose is present in blood and serve as a major source of energy. This glucose is serve as a major source of energy, and it also help in the maintenance of the blood sugar balance. Okay, if the glucose level is higher, then we can say that the blood sugar is increases, and if the glucose level is down in a bloodstream, then we said that blood sugar level decreases. And this glucose also help in the production of ATP. Fructose is known as a ketohexose sugar. Now, ketohexose sugar means that it contains the ketone group along with that 6 carbon atom. Okay, and this fructose is found in fruits and honey. We will discuss in detail about fructose. Here only we are discuss about the basic of it, and it help in the sweetest nature of the sugar. It can be used in a food industry as a sweetener and also help in a energy metabolism. Galactose are also known as a aldohexose sugar. Again, this galactose is what? Contain the aldehyde group plus 6 carbon atom. And this galactose is found in milk sugar, that is lactose. Lactose is made up of the galactose. Okay, lactose is your disaccharide. It is made up of the galactose. Now this galactose converted the glucose in liver. Okay, when galactose reaches into the liver, then it converted into the glucose. It is important for the nervous system and help in the development and milk production. Structure of the monosaccharides. So monosaccharide can exist in both structure, either in an open chain or cyclic form. Okay, if we talk about the cyclic form, then it exists in a pyranose and furanose form, and these are the more stable form of the monosaccharides. Okay, the structure of the monosaccharide influences the reactivity and digestion. Alpha and beta anomers, they are also present, and it depends upon the position of the hydroxyl group. Alpha and beta anomers, which of the monosaccharides are depend upon the hydroxyl group, and it help in the determination of the digestibility. If we talk about the alpha glucose form of the starch and beta glucose form of the cellulose. So it starch can be digestible, but this beta glucose form of the cellulose is non-digestible. It is digestible, and cellulose is non-digestible. Isomerism include the structure, stereoisomers and apimers. It create the biochemical diversity and enzyme specificity. D and L forms are present when the hydroxyl group are attached at right side, then it is known as a D form. Okay, D, and when the hydroxyl group present in left side, then it is known as a L form of that glucose. Okay, and this D form is more biological active as compared to the L form. Only D sugar are metabolized in human. Okay, if talk about the digestion of that sugar, so only D form of the sugar are metabolized in human, not L form. Okay, when the hydroxyl group is present at the left side, then it cannot be digestible. Optical activity, like monosaccharides rotate the polarized light. It is used for the identification and help in the determination of the purity and type of the sugar. Mutarotation, like interconversion between alpha and beta form in a solution. When we have a solution, then it can be converted, affect the sugar stability and reactivity in biological system. Reducing and non-reducing sugar. So it act as a reducing sugar when we react with that magnetic reagent like glucose. Important used in analytical testing and food chemistry. Chemical properties, it show the oxidation reaction, reduction, esterification, and dehydration. Basis for the biochemical process and industrial applications. Physical properties, they are sweet in nature. All the monosaccharides, they are what? They are sweet in nature, crystalline in form, water soluble, and optically active. Crystalline, sweet, water soluble, and optically active. It also affect the taste and usability in food product. This is the importance of the monosaccharides. Biological function, it serve as a energy source, metabolic intermediate, and structural component. Important, essential for the energy supply and biosynthesis. If we talk about the role of this monosaccharide in human body, so in human body it maintain the blood glucose level, stored as a form of glycogen, and used by a vital organ. When it is stored as a glycogen, then vital organs are used. Fundamental for maintaining the energy homeostasis. Health and nutrition. Balanced intake provide the energy. Excess cause diabetes. Okay. Now, when we have to consume the monosaccharides, we have to consume it in a balanced way. Okay. Suppose that if we consume it in a less amount, then we cannot get as much energy for performing our day to day work. Okay. And if we consume it in an excess amount, then obviously diabetes occurs. So that's why we have to take it in a balanced way, which is very important. Critical for managing health and metabolism. In food industry, it is used as a form of sweeteners, syrup, and fermentation, which help in the improvement of the taste, texture, energy value of the food product. Laboratory identification, we will discuss in detail about the Moelish test, Banach test, Balfour test. Okay. Then role in a cellular metabolism, like it participate in different cycle like glycolysis, Krebs, and biosynthetic reaction, and also provide a carbon skeleton for biomolecule formation. Important summary, like monosaccharide are essential for the energy production, structural component, metabolic pathway, food and industrial applications. Monosaccharide are simple sugar and very important for the life. It provides the energy and participate in the metabolism and form a biomolecules. So this is all about the introduction of the monosaccharides. Till now, any doubt, any query, anybody?
No queries.
Introduction. Madhu, it's clear?
No queries, ma'am.
Okay. Today we will also discuss the practical part also. Okay. But first of all, we just see the basic of this theory. Okay. So after discussing the introduction of the monosaccharide, we will move to our next topic, that is the introduction of the aldose reducing sugar. Aldose reducing hexose sugar glucose. Okay. Why we are discussing the theory part of this? Because we have to discuss the qualitative analysis of this aldose reducing hexose sugar. Okay. Now, aldose means that the aldehyde group is present. Reducing means that this aldehyde is free aldehyde group present. Hexose means that this 6 carbon atom is present. That is your glucose. Now, this carbohydrate we are already discussed about it in many time. Like carbohydrate is a biomolecules which are important for all type of the living organisms, and they are essential. They are the primary sources of the energy. Okay, and this glucose is the most common type of the carbohydrate. Okay, that's we are have to discuss about it. Okay, this glucose is a monosaccharide that we all know. Okay. And they are what? They are the aldose reducing hexose sugar. Okay. Now, classification of carbohydrate we are already discussed. So, we are not discussing it here. Monosaccharide we are already discussed. Hexose means that the 6 carbon atoms are present. Okay. Or it can be exist either as a aldose or ketose. When it is present as a aldose, then the example is glucose means that the aldehyde group is present, and ketose hexoses means that the keto group is present. For example, fructose. So aldose sugar we all know that we are already discussed about it. Structure we are already discussed about it. Glucose. Come to this topic. Now, glucose is the most abundant monosaccharide present in a nature, and this glucose is the most most common type of monosaccharide, and even the carbohydrate are present. Okay, the chemical formula is C6H12O6. This glucose is also known as a dextrose or graph sugar. Glucose is also known as a dextrose or a graph sugar. It is present in fruits, honey, and plant sap, and it is a reducing aldose hexose sugar. Glucose is first isolated by the raisins. We all know that, na, raisins. So raisins, from raisin it is isolate, and it is isolated by the Andreas Margraf. He was a scientist who isolate this raisins in isolate the glucose from the raisins in 1747. Then during 19th century, Emil Fischer discovered the structure of the glucose. Okay. Along with it, Fischer also introduced the Fischer projection for the monosaccharides. Glucose is a primary source of the energy in living cells, central molecules in metabolism, building block for the polysaccharide, that is your starch and cellulose, that uh, either the starch or cellulose, they all are made up of the glucose. And this glucose also involved in the glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and photosynthesis. Molecular structure of the glucose. So this glucose can be present in both type of the structure, either the cyclic chain or open chain. Clear my point?
Clear, madam.
Okay. So I'm going to show you the cyclic and open structure of glucose. Do you know about it?
I know, ma'am.
Sorry?
I know glucose structure, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So, obviously, if it is a glucose, first of all, I'm going to draw the open chain form. Okay. Open chain form contain the 6 carbon atom, and aldehyde group is present at the carbon number 1. Now, first of all, draw the 6 carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, here we attach the aldehyde group. Then after that, hydroxyl group at the right side, then hydroxyl group at the left side, then hydroxyl group at the right side, again at the right side, Then at the end we add CH2OH. Okay, this is a open chain form. Now when we talk about the cyclic ring, then this is like this. Here H, OH, H, OH, hydroxyl group is present here. Then here CH2OH and hydrogen, and then hydroxyl group and H. Okay, this glucose can be present in both type of the structure. Either it is alpha D glucose and beta D glucose. Okay, but this D glucose is biologically active form of the glucose. Clear?
Clear, madam.
Okay. Now, if we talk about the open chain form, then it is a linear structure that we already see here. It is a linear structure. CHCHOH 4CH2OH. Okay, this is the linear formula that we elaborated. Then aldehyde group is present at one end, that is carbon number 1, and hydroxyl group on other carbons. It can be oxidized very easily because of that reducing property. That's why it can be oxidized very easily. Now, if we talk about the cyclic structure of the glucose, then in aqueous solution, this glucose are exist in a cyclic form. Aldehyde react with the hydroxyl at carbon number 5, then a hemiacetal formation take place. And it form a pyranose ring 6 member, and it is more stable than the open chain form. Alpha and beta anomers of the glucose. When a ring is formed, okay, then C1 become the anomeric carbon, and hydroxyl group is attached as C1 is below the plane, then it is alpha anomer, and if hydroxyl group at carbon number 1 is above the plane, then it is known as a beta anomer. Suppose that if we take that carbon number 1 and hydroxyl group, that is OH, is present at below the plane, then it is known as a alpha anomer. And if that hydroxyl group is present at carbon number 1 above the plane, then it is known as a beta anomers. Okay, now in solution, glucose is the interconvert, means that we can convert it either the alpha into beta and beta into alpha. Clear my points?
Clear, madam.
Okay, just give me 2 minutes. D and L form of the glucose. This can be determined by the configuration of the presence of that hydroxyl group on penultimate carbon. Okay. If hydroxyl group is present at the right side, then it is known as a D glucose. And if it is present at the left side, then it is known as a L glucose. Okay. But natural glucose is always a D form, means that the hydroxyl group is present at the right side and it is biologically active, reducing property of glucose. So here, due to the presence of this free aldehyde group, which is present in open chain form, due to that property, due to presence of that free aldehyde group, glucose show the reducing property, and it can reduce the Fehling, Banning or Tollens reagent. And it form a red precipitate of copper oxide or silver mirror. That's why it is known as a reducing sugar. Now, this test will be discussed in later in detail, that is reducing properties. Chemical reaction like oxidation is occur, then this glucose is converted into the gluconic acid. This is a mild reaction, means that when mild oxidation occur, then this glucose is converted into the gluconic acid. When a strong oxidation occur, then glucose is converted into the glucuric acid. When reduction processes occur, then this glucose is converted into the sorbitol. During the fermentation, glucose is converted into the ethanol and carbon dioxide is liberated in the presence of yeast. Esterification, glucosides form with the alcohols. Hydrolysis and dehydration reaction. Okay, when a glucose is condensate, then disaccharides is formed. That is your maltose. Maltose is what? Maltose is made up of the glucose. And when dehydration is occur, and that dehydration is occurred by the acid, then hydroxymethyl furfuryl is formed. This reaction is very important for the Browning reaction. Biological significance of the glucose: it immediated the energy source through the glycolysis. It can be stored as a glycogen in animal and starch in plant. It can oxidize in mitochondria and form the ATP. And it is very essential for brain and red blood cells. Role of glucose in food industry. Like, it provided this sweetness and energy used in confectionery, bakery, beverages. It also involved in a Maillard reaction, like color, enhance the color and flavor of the food product and affect the texture and preservation of the food product. Industrial production of the glucose, it can be produced by the hydrolysis of the starch. Starch is the polysaccharides. Okay. And when we hydrolyze the starch, it's converted into the glucose, because when a many units of this glucose is combined, then this starch is formed. Okay. Amylase and glucose isomerase. Syrup contain the glucose and maltose, and it is used in the production of the soft drinks, sweets, energy beverages. Medical importance of the glucose. This glucose are administered in the form of IV fluid for quick energy recovery. It also treat the hypoglycemia. This glucose is also a main component of the oral dehydration solution, that is your ORS, and monitor the blood glucose is vital in diabetes. Analytical determination of glucose we will discuss in later. So this is all about the introduction part of this glucose. Clear? Clear?
Clear, madam.
Okay. Now come to the practical part. Okay. First of all, I will discuss the test, then procedure, then observation, then interference. Okay. Like one by one, each test will be discussed, then their procedure, their observation, and then their interference. After that, I will show you the one video of the experiment. Okay. Clear?
Clear, madam.
Okay. Till now, everything is clear now. If anybody have doubt, just let me know. Qualitative analysis of aldose reducing hexose sugar, that is your glucose. Okay, so the first test that we are going to discuss is a solubility test. Just a minute. Just give me 1 minute. So the first test that we are going to discuss is about the solubility test. So this solubility test, we check the solubility of the sample with four type of the solvent. Procedure. What we do, we take a four type of the solvent. The first is your distilled water. Then the second one is your hot water. Then third one is your HCl, dilute HCl, not HCl. Dilute HCl. And the fourth one is your alcohol. That is your ethanol. Okay. Now what we do, we take a pinch of our sample. And add this sample into each solvent. Okay. First, we take a pinch of the sample and add into the distilled water. Then we take a pinch of the sample and add into the hot water. Then take a pinch of the sample, then add into the dilute HCl. Then take a pinch of the sample and add into the ethanol. Then after that, we see that the sample is soluble in water. Sample is soluble in water. Then sample is soluble just 1 minute. First, we dissolve it into the distilled water and we will observe that the sample is dissolved into the soluble in water. Then when we dissolve it into the hot water, then we will observe that it is soluble in hot water. Just a minute. And when we dissolve the sample into the dilute HCl, then we will observe that our sample is dissolved
Madam,
in
I'm
the.
able to hear your voice, ma'am.
It is not audible,
Yes, ma'am. Not clearly, ma'am.
not clearly. Okay. Anyone else? My voice is audible or not?
It's audible, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, my pen tab is not working properly. That's why. Just give me 1 minute. I will set it, then we will continue. Okay. When we dissolve it into the dilute HCl, then we will observe that sample is soluble in dilute HCl. And when we dissolve it into the ethanol, then we will observe that sample is soluble in ethanol. Okay, then it means that it may be a monosaccharide. The sample is what? It may be a monosaccharide. Okay, if it is not dissolved, then it means that it is not a monosaccharides. Clear? Solubility test is clear? Solubility test is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear,
Okay.
madam.
After solubility test, the next test is Molish test. So for performing the Molish test, what we do, we take a test tube. This is our test tube. In a test tube, we add 2 ml of the sample. After adding 2 ml of the sample, we add the drops of Molish reagent. Then after that, adding of the 2 drop of this Molish reagent, we have to add the sulfuric acid. But the sulfuric acid will be added to the wall of the test tube. This is your sulfuric acid. 2 ml of the sulfuric acid. But when we add the sulfuric acid, it should be add by the sides of the tubes. Then we will observe that reddish violet rings is formed. Reddish violet ring is formed at the junction of two liquid. At the junction of two liquids. See, when you add the sample and after addition of the sample, when you add that sulfuric acid, then this ring is formed here. This is a junction of the two liquid, means that the sample and sulfuric acid have two different type of the liquids are present. So where these two liquids are made, at that junction a reddish violet ring is formed. Then it means that the indicate the presence of carbohydrate. Indicate the presence of carbohydrate. Clear? Molish test is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now next is your iodine test. In next lecture, I will give you the one presentation in which I will discuss the how we prepare all these solution. Okay. Just I forget that presentation, but I will give you how we prepare that Molish reagent, how we prepare the iodine reagent. That will I will give you. Okay. Next test is your iodine test. So for performing the iodine test, again we take a test tube. In a test tube, we add 2 ml of the sample and 2 drop of iodine solution. Okay. If the color is not changed, no color change, then it indicate that absence of polysaccharide. Obviously, polysaccharide will be absent because we have to test the glucose, and for for the glucose, we have to, this glucose come under the category of the monosaccharide. Okay, so that's why here the when we do the iodine test, then the color of the solution will not change, which indicate that the absence of that polysaccharides. Clear? Third
Yes,
test
ma'am.
is your Barford's test. For performing this solution test, or again we take a test tube, and in a test tube we add 5 ml Barfords reagent, and along with it we have to add the 8 drops of sample. Okay, then after that we keep it at water bath for a few minutes. For at least 5 minutes at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, now if the red precipitate was formed, if the red precipitate is formed, then it indicate the presence of monosaccharide. Clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next test is your Banach test. Sorry, not third, it is the fourth one. For performing the Banach test, again we take a test tube, and in a test tube we add 5 ml of Banach's reagent. Then we add 8 drops of sample. Okay, if then after that we keep it at water bath for 2 minutes at 100 degree Celsius. If the blue color turns into the orange color, then it indicate the presence of reducing sugar. Indicate the presence of reducing sugar. Clear?
Clear, madam.
Now next is your Falling test. Again, we required a test tube. In a test tube, we have to add a 5 ml of the Falling reagent. Then we have to add the 1 ml of sample. Okay. Then we keep it at water bath for 2 minutes at 100 degree Celsius, or either heat it at burner for 1 minute. If a brownish orange color precipitate was obtained, brownish orange PPT is obtained, then it indicate the presence of reducing sugar. Clear?
Clear, madam.
Okay. Now next test is your Biles test. See, this all tests are very easy. Only the difference between the how to prepare that reagent. Okay. The next class when I will give you that PPT in which the preparation of the reagents are there, then it will be more easy for you. Okay. So you can easily connect with that to the procedure. Now, sixth test is your Biles test. Again, for performing this test, we take a test tube and take 5 ml of sample. Five ml Biles reagent, and we boil it in water bath. Boil it in water bath for 1 minute at 100 degrees Celsius. Then after that, if no green color was observed, no green color was no green color is observed, then it indicate the absence of pentose sugar. Indicate the absence of pentose sugar. Clear?
Clear, madam.
Seventh is your Sullivan's test. Just a minute. Sullivan's test. Again, for performing this test, we take a test tube and add 5 ml of reagent, that is Sullivan reagent. Then we add few drops of sample. Then after that, we keep it at water bath for 5 minutes at 100 degrees Celsius. If no cherry red color is observed, no cherry no cherry red color is observed, then it indicate the absence of ketose sugar. So this is all about the qualitative analysis of the glucose. It is clear: solubility test, Mollish test, iodine test, Bradford test, Bannock test, Falling test, Biles test, and Sullivan test. It is clear?
Clear. Clear, madam.
Okay, now I will show you the experimental video of this qualitative analysis of this glucose, in which we perform the two tests. The one is your solubility test and the another one is your Falling test. Okay.
Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today we are going to perform an experiment, that is qualitative analysis of aldose reducing sugar, which is glucose. Glucose is a main type of sugar that is present in our blood and also a major source of energy. So for performing these tests, we required first solubility test. For the solubility test, we have four.
So here we perform two tests for the qualitative analysis of glucose. The first one is your solubility test and the second one is your Falling test. Okay. So the first part covered the solubility test. Okay. If you have any doubt, just let me know. I am here.
Solutions, four solvent, that is water, hot water, dilute HCl, and ethanol. For proceeding, by proceeding our experiment, I am adding a sample in each of the solvent. As you can see here, the sample is soluble in all type of solvent, in hot water, in distilled water, in dilute HCl, and in ethanol also. So this shows our sample is a monosaccharide. Performing solubility test, we are moving ahead to Falling test. Here is the principle.
This video will also upload it to your account. Okay. So just see it here. Then after that, for a clear visualization in the or like clear voice, you can visit your account. Then you can see it. Okay.
Principle of Falling test. This is glucose reducing aldose sugar has free aldehyde group in its open chain form. In Here is the principle of Falling test, that is glucose that is reducing aldose sugar has free aldehyde group in its open chain form. In alkaline solution, it reduces copper ion in Falling reagent to cuprous oxide, which appear brick red precipitate. So to perform this experiment, we require two reagents, that is Phalanx A and Phalanx B. For the preparation of Phalanx A solution, we required copper 2. For the preparation of Phalanx A solution, we required copper 2 sulfate pentahydrate and distilled water. For the preparation of Phalanx B solution, we required potassium, sodium pentahydrate and distilled water. For the preparation of Phalanx B solution, we required potassium sodium tartrate and distilled water. Material requirement for this experiment, we required distilled water, measuring cylinder, burner, spatula, weighing balance, test tube holder, test tubes, beaker, pipette tubes, and micropipette. Now I am going to prepare Pheling A reagent, for which we required 0.7 gram of copper sulfate pentahydrate. Mhm.
It's visible.
This is 0.7 gram of copper second sulfate pentahydrate. Now I have to measure 10 ml of distilled water. This is 10 ml of distilled water. Now I am going to prepare the solution with 0.7 gram of copper second sulfate pentahydrate and 10 ml of distilled water in a beaker. Pheling A reagent. Now we have to prepare Pheling B reagent, for which we require 3.5 gram of potassium sodium tartrate in 10. I am taking here 3.5 gram potassium sodium tartrate.
Yeah, this is how we prepare the reagent. Okay, first we prepare a Pheling A reagent, then we prepare a Pheling B reagent. In Pheling A, we dissolve the copper sulfate into the distilled water, and in Pheling B reagent, we take a sodium tartrate and that dissolve into the sodium potassium tartrate into the distilled water. So this is how we prepare that reagent for all of the experiments. But only the difference is that the chemical is changed.
It's 3.5 gram of potassium sodium tartrate. I am preparing the solution here in 10 ml of distilled water.
After preparing the separately phallic and phallic B, what we do, we take a equal amount of phallic A and phallic B and mix it together. That is known as a phallic reagent.
Now we required zero point 0.1 gram of sodium hydroxide. Mm. So this is 0.1 gram of sodium hydroxide. Now I am adding this in here in this solution.